So you also made headlines during this fight, starting, I'm sure, in early 2020, and then it was 700 and how many days later that you finally had a day off, correct?
So I worked continuously without a single day off for 715 days. Not even when I was an intern, I worked that hard.
Yeah.
and people would say, how can you do it? I mean, nobody, it just doesn't, people think that you lie when you say that. It's like, I have to. I could not get sick because nobody was caring for these patients. And the hospital where I work is a hospital that takes care of minorities, communities of color, people that really need the help. We had a lot of illegal aliens that were coming in. And, they would come in 2 or 3 weeks into their illness because they were so scared that they were going to be deported or stuff like that they would avoid going to a hospital until they were literally near death. So somebody had to take care of those patients. I eventually took a break to go and marry one of my kids that needed to get married, and if I didn't go, that was going to be really bad.
So how was your hospital administration staff with your approach? Were they supportive? Were they ambivalent?
The hospital was nice to me. I mean, they basically saw that we were pulling in patients from all over the world, not only the state, the world. People were coming in to the point that at some point in time, the U.S. military had to come in to the hospital to give us a hand because we were swamped. I had 88 patients at one time.
In the ICU?
In the ICU.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So
what we did is we turned this small community hospital into an all hospital ICU. It became a giant ICU. So we had 117 ICU beds.
Wow.
What?
On a 117-bed hospital. So every bed was transformed to become an ICU. Every single
This
bed.
is insane. For anybody that understands the level of care that an ICU doctor provides, when I rotated in ICU, you're assigned 2, 3 patients tops because it took all day to monitor everything. That is insane how many people you're taking care of.
It was unbelievable. I had a bunch of assistants helping me mostly with notes and stuff like that. I had a lot of medical students helping out with the paperwork, which was the tough part. And I have a very good group of nurses. I mean, but the nurses, you would see them in the middle of the day, they would start crying.
Yeah.
Because they would see one patient dying and then another one dying. Sometimes we would have 2 cardiac arrests at the same time. And, which one do you run to? I mean, it was hell. People don't understand what we went through. So when I look at this thing, I said, look, guys, we've been through hell. And now you guys are coming after us because you don't like our approach or because you have another political agenda or because you like Big Pharma. Or I mean, come on, give us a break.
What did you find other people in Houston, other physicians that may not have been affiliated with your hospital, but reaching out for advice on what they could do in their local area also?
Every day.
Okay.
And it's funny because even those people, when their family members got sick, they would send them to us, not to their own hospital. That was the interesting thing. Politicians, they would come to us. They wouldn't send them to other people. I would have people that came in from the fanciest hospitals in the U.S. Being flown into the little inner hospital place where, 99% of the patients are uninsured and it's in a bad part of town. They would come to us because of our success with what we were doing. So we were doing something right. There is no question about it. And that really pissed off a lot of people.
What about, and out of curiosity, I think it was in 2021, there was another hospital system in Houston that was kind of ostracizing one physician who made a lot of news. I think her name is Mary Bowden.
Mary Bowden.
Did she happen to reach out to you also?
Oh yeah, I mean I've known Mary. She's a good doctor. She's outspoken. She is she has a fantastic practice.
What type of doctor is she?
She's an ENT doctor, but also like most of us by default became a COVIDologist.
Wow.
Because she was one of those people that were out there helping. And Mary is well-trained, Stanford-trained, I mean, well-educated, and she just had her own point of view regarding vaccination, which I respect. I think, we are in the U.S., freedom of choice, freedom of speech, simple as that. So her option was not to get vaccinated, and she had some issues with one of the big hospitals in Houston.
I did not realize that you were tip of the spear on this thing, and people were flying into your community hospital, which traditionally, like you said, was more of an indigent type hospital. So if you're over there, most of your career has been giving back to the community, absolutely.
But that's medicine. I mean, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You give back to the community. You are supposed to be helping people.
So you also mentioned, like when we were talking before this, that you did get singled out and they did try to persecute you. Can you tell me like how that actually, like what happened with that?
I mean, the most important part is usually when you start getting, the threats. I had death threats in my office. Death threats. My office will get death threats that says, tomorrow he will not be around me because we're going to kill him.
Wow.
And it's funny because at the time, I got to meet the chief of the police. Got to meet all the VIPs in the city. So one day I remember I called the former chief of police in Houston and I say, hey, Art, I have a problem. She says, what's going on, Joe? Well, I just got a bunch of death threats. And the guy says, welcome to the club. It's like, aren't you going to send somebody or try the calls? And he says, well, these things happen, especially when you are on the public view and people are seeing that you are doing things. This is very common. I mean, he educated me a lot on this, but it was scary.
Yeah.
My wife says, should we be going to visit the office or do you need to have some kind of protection? I mean, what the hell?
And all you're doing is working 700 days in a row, treating 80 people that nobody else will treat, and having some of the highest success in the entire country. What in the world is going on that somebody like you, a hero, a champion, is getting death threats?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew what's going on through the head of people that are doing this. Because on the one hand, you have that. On the other hand, you have all those people that actually saw you on TV and stuff like that, and you get daily nice letters from probably some old lady that is writing you that everything you did was great. So you have that nice part that says, hey, some of us are looking at, but the people are not looking at what you're doing is your own peers. I think that's the most, the one that hurts the most. The one where you say, what have I done wrong? I mean, should I have been like most of my colleagues that says, I'm not going to the hospital because I can get sick?
Man, no joke.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask that. So there are other critical care doctors at your hospital. Did they stand by you?
No, that was the only one that would work.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody else wanted to do what I was doing.
So where are they now? What's the relationship?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of issues that occurred after that. Even the hospital had issues with the regulating agencies. They lost some of their accreditations. I mean, there was a lot of backslash to the amazing work that we did. Don't ask me why. I mean, it was unreal. It was something that I was not expecting, because when you do so much work, you would expect that somebody's going to come and say, hey, you did a great job, and not when they see that you're starting to have issues with some of the regulatory agencies. They say, okay, well, we don't know you. Let's just keep on doing our thing. And that was very sad.
Due to the controversial and intense nature of this episode, we are not able to stream it on a public platform. To hear the episode in its entirety, click the link below to view it on Rumble or Locals. Thank you for your understanding and support.